Keep still, you little devil, or I'll cut your throat.
No.
It goes from bad to worse. He sees language. Now it's interesting. Many of you have seen the Keira Knightley Pride and Prejudice, which I happen to like a lot, actually. There are things about it I like better than the better 5-hour movie that was done on the BBC. And the director says that he actually stole from this scene, though in a very different tone, because in fact, the way Wickham is introduced in that movie, if any of you remember, is that Keira Knightley drops her handkerchief and it's being blown along, and she's running along the ground to pick up the handkerchief, and Wickham picks it up and hands it to her, and the camera comes up, and you see Wickham, who is, not like language here, he's absolutely gorgeous. But that the director said, I stole it.
What do you think, Bourbon?
Look,
There's Benjamin. Uh-oh. She got him trapped. She's inside now. And now there's Mrs. Robinson behind the bar, holding him captive and emphasizing how much captive she's holding him. Look at the backyard. This is like no backyard I've ever seen in LA. This is a bloody jungle. And it's meant to be a jungle and to look like a jungle because he is the victim of the tiger here.
Mrs. Robinson, I drove you home. I was glad to do it, but I have some things on my mind. Can you understand that?
Yes.
All right.
She pays no attention.
What do you drink? Benjamin, I'm sorry to be this way, but I don't want to be left alone in this house.
Why not?
Please wait till my husband gets home.
When is he coming back?
I don't know. Drink?
No.
No, there it is.
Are you always this much afraid of being alone?
Yes.
Well, why can't you just lock the doors and go to bed?
I'm very neurotic.
Oh, okay. I guess I better sit down and move away. Now she's going to put music on and scare him.
May I ask you a question? What do you think of me?
What do you mean?
You've known me nearly all your life. You must have formed some opinion of me.
Well, I always thought that you were a very nice person.
Did you know I was an alcoholic?
What?
Did you know that?
Look,
I think I better get out of here.
Sit down, Benjamin.
Mrs. Robinson, if you don't mind my saying so, this conversation is getting a little strange. Now, I'm sure that Mr. Robinson...
Jungle all around. He's trying to get away from the tiger. It ain't gonna happen.
will be here any minute now.
No.
What?
My husband will be back quite late. He should be gone for several hours.
Oh my God. Oh no, Mrs. Robinson, oh no.
What's wrong?
Now, you can see from the way he moves here, the actor, not Benjamin, but Dustin Hoffman, that it's very carefully blocked so that he'll be in just the right position for the camera to work its magic.
Mrs. Robinson, you didn't expect.
What?
You didn't really think I'd do something like that.
Like what?
What do you think?
Well, I don't know.
For God's sake.
Now listen to the line. What she's just done, listen to what he says. He's a little confused.
Here we are, you got me into your house, you give me a drink, you put on music, now you start opening up your personal life to me and tell me your husband won't be home for hours.
So?
Mrs. Robinson, you're trying to seduce me.
Okay, now we're back to the third man and to a very different sequence.
No more questions from Mr. Martins. I think I
He has, as some of you may remember, he's been asked to give a lecture on the evening, and they thought he was a famous writer. He just has the name of a famous writer, and he writes westerns And so his lecture is not very well. People are leaving, and now everybody's leaving. And what we have is, the guys basically, thank God it's over, both the host and Joseph Cotton, who's ready to leave.
All the meeting officially closed.
Now, in 1946, when this movie was made, people in trench coats are dangerous. Okay, just so you know. We got 2 people in trench coats and a third one in a dark coat, meaning he's even more dangerous. And as the people are leaving, they're standing right there, and Joseph Cotton is looking at them, trying to decide what to do. And watch what happens with the camera. There's Joseph Cotton. He starts to move toward them. And now we've got a close-up of Joseph Cotton here, moderate close-up. And he looks back at them, and now watch. What happened to the door? It's there, of course, but the camera's now focused on them in a threesome that closes the door out from him. In order to get through the door, he has to go through them. And this is not a good thing to have to do. So he decides, these guys are dangerous. I better go the other way. So he tries another escape. He runs up the stairs. Now, there is a very interesting stairwell. And he runs up the stairs. We can't even any longer tell what's up and down. And for what it's worth, Alfred Hitchcock stole this scene in Psycho. That what we're seeing here is the reverse of what we get in Psycho, where when Janet Leigh is killed in the shower, the blood runs down the tub. Here he's running up the stairs, but up and down are very hard to tell apart here. And that what we have is the danger, even if we haven't seen Psycho, which hasn't been made yet, there's the danger he's feeling as he's getting trapped. He rushes into this room trying to get away. Okay, now I'm going to show entrances and exits.
Hi, John.
Sleepless in Seattle. And Tom Hanks is dating this girl. And Tom Hanks' son, Tom Hanks' ex-wife and former wife has died, and the son does not like this girl. And that Tom Hanks is saying goodbye to her as they go and take her to the airplane, and he's trying to explain to Jonah, I think the boy's name is Jonah, that this is just somebody he's trying out. Nobody's perfect.
No?
That's what I think of her.
Jonah, listen to me. You don't know Victoria. I hardly know her myself. She is, in fact, a mystery to me. She tosses her hair around. Why does she do this? I have no idea. Is it a twitch? She need a haircut? She use a barrette to keep her hair out of her face? These are things I'm willing to get to the bottom of. So that's why
I am dating her.
dating her. That's all I'm doing.
Now watch. I love this. I'm such a romantic. I love this. He's talking to Jonah, and they just put her on an airplane, though. We don't know which airplane. She went that way. And there, what we're seeing is an airplane's unloading. And he's talking to Jonah about how he's trying this girl out. And that's what we all do to see, and the things that matter with her. But after all, nobody's perfect.
I'm not living with her. I'm not marrying her. Can you appreciate the difference? This is what single people do. They try other people on and see how they fit. But everybody's an adjustment. Nobody's perfect. There's no such thing as a perfect.
And Ryan, watch Tom Hanks. And the music. Notice the music. Here's another entrance. This is my favorite entrance in the world. This is the Zeffirelli Romeo and Juliet. Romeo has gone to the party at the Capulets to see Rosalind, whom he's in love with. He's been under her window the night before, moaning and groaning and speaking poetry, and she doesn't pay him a bit of attention. And Rosalind does not appear in the play at all, but she appears in the movie in a perfect way. Here's Romeo looking for Rosalind. There she is. And she thinks she's the cat's meow. And he thinks she's the cat's meow. Fixes her crimping, sorry. I didn't mean to stop it. Got Romeo looking, seeing her, and now she's going around dancing. And she goes around again, and Romeo's watching her. Oh, she's beautiful, he thinks. Isn't she wonderful? She comes in and she disappears and whoa. Juliet appears in a red dress. Red for passion, red for blood, red for all kinds of things. Suddenly Juliet appears. And I showed this cut to a bunch of kids in an inner city school in 4th through 6th grade because I had a former student who was teaching for America, and he was teaching these kids, and I came in and did some of this pieces of film for him. And I said, "What happened here?" The kid raised his hand, he said, "He fell in love with the girl in the red dress." I said, "Yes, and what happened to the girl in the green dress?" "She gone, man, she gone." Not accidental that we see Juliet with the hand in front of her, the arm in front of her, all of that Capulet Montague stuff that they're going to have to get through and don't succeed finally in escaping what's threatened by the Capulet and the Montague War. But Romeo watches and sees that she's beautiful, and he's now, oh wow, oh, whoa. All right, here's a very different entrance of Juliet. This is the great Baz Luhrmann movie. The same thing, though radically different movie, and in some ways much better, and in many ways much worse. Neither Claire Danes nor Leonardo DiCaprio ever gets the lines right in terms of handling the verse. But Baz Luhrmann is a tremendously inventive director, and what he's doing is giving us a whole world here. In 60 seconds, there are 37 different cuts. And this is the Capulet household, and this is the introduction of Juliet, which is very different from the way it was in the last film.
Juliet!
Lady Capulet is pretty drugged out, pretty drunk. They're getting the party ready for the big Capulet party, and she's sort of wandering around looking for Juliet and not quite conscious that she's not really dressed properly. She suddenly realized, oh yeah, Now we see all of them. That's Mozart's 25th, and what you're getting is a whole world of excitement and beauty, and she's trying to find Juliet. So she sends a nurse.
Nurse! Nurse, where's my daughter? Call her forth to me.
I bade her gone, God forbid!
Now, the first time we see Juliet, she's in the water. She's escaping. She's someplace where it's quiet where she's away from the wildness of what's going on in the house, the wildness of the whole Capulet world, the drunken and the alcohol and drug-addicted mother, and she's in the water and she comes up out of the water. Now, it's not accidental that when we first see Juliet, she's in the water. Because that's what we're going to see with Romeo just before he sees Juliet, and they're going to meet over the water. Now, here's the Capulet party from the bad Mercutio, pretty far gone. He's given Romeo some kind of drug, probably ecstasy, before the party started, and Romeo is pretty far gone, and what is happening, he can't tell whether it's really happening or whether it's part of the drug. Anyway, what we have is a wild Capulet party.
I have seen the day that
There's
I took
old
on a mystery
Capulet.
and the fair ladies here, such as would please.
I gotta get out of here, it says. I gotta get away from this. So, we'll go to the next room. And now, he's in the water. He's in the water to see if he can get through the drug's effect on him. And he's there in the water in the same way Juliet was when we first saw her. Looks in the mirror, throws the mask down, be rid of the mask for Romeo, so people won't know who he is. Behind him he sees the beautiful lights of what turn out to be a fish tank, more water, guy peeing in the sun there. He goes to look in the fish tank. He's just, attracted by the color. In the meantime, we've got a love song. My soul cries. And he starts watching the fish. Notice there's a reflection in the fish tank of him. He looks down, watches the fish, looks down, there's that blue fish, looks down, more blue fish, moves away and a blue eye appears, and then we have Juliet through the fish tank, and he looking at her. And we see them just looking at one another, and then the camera's going to move back, and we'll see a double image of him reflected in the fish tank, where we see him and the image, and that's partly because he's this beautiful guy, and she's sort of felt the magic too. They felt the magic of seeing one another for the first time and falling in love at first sight, but he's got a double image there because he's a Montague, she's a Capulet. And they'll sort of continue this looking at one another, and then the camera will move to the other side of the fish tank, and we'll see the double image of her as Capulet. As they see one another, we have a love song being performed in the back. They smile at one another, and they even try to kiss one another, sort of. And she's carried away like a fish in